Not every find uncovered by archaeologists can be fully explained by scientists. That's because our grasp of history is still full of gaps. In some areas, those gaps are behemoths. We can guess all we want about how or why ancient civilizations built certain things, but the full picture might always stay out of reach. And even now, experts remain puzzled by several of the discoveries you're about to see in this video. And trust us, some of the ones you'll see are truly bizarre. Let's start off this countdown with number 15, Pocani Forest. In Latvia, there's a place some call sacred, and others avoid completely to stay alive. Pocani Forest, nicknamed Latvia's Stonehenge, is at the center of centuries-old folklore. Some believe its energy can heal anything. Others claim taking a rock from the forest guarantees misfortune or illness. What everyone agrees on is that this place is super strange. Compasses go haywire. Watches stop ticking. Stones feel warm even in freezing weather. Yet no radiation has ever been detected, and no one can explain the bizarre phenomena. Scattered stones, some carefully arranged in patterns, seem transported from elsewhere. It's unclear whether the site once held religious meaning, or if someone was planning a fort, a temple, or maybe just clearing farmland. What's clear is that nobody finished the job, or if they did, the forest took the rest. With no written history and no archaeological consensus, the place just lingers in the realm of mystery. One of those rare locations where science comes up short and speculation runs wild. Number 14. The Heliodoris Pillar. Roughly 2,200 years ago, this unique stone pillar was erected in India, and you won't believe it, it still leaves scholars scratching their heads. Known as the Heliodoris Pillar, it's dedicated to Hindu gods through ancient inscriptions. But here's the super twist. Those inscriptions also mention a Greek diplomat named Heliodoris, along with several other Greek names. That alone challenges what we thought we knew about cross-cultural contact back then. Rediscovered in 1877 near the city of Vidisha, where the Betwa and Halali rivers meet, the pillar was caked in a thick red paste used in centuries of worship, often involving animal sacrifices. That layer wasn't cleaned off until 1909, which finally revealed the carvings. Even stranger, it turns out the pillar was part of a much larger religious site, now mostly buried under silt from repeated floods. No one's entirely sure whether this was an act of diplomacy, religious conversion, or something else entirely. But one thing's pretty clear, Heliodoris left behind more mystery than answers. Number 13. The Roman Tunnels of Baiae. Once a lavish Roman resort town, Baiae in southern Italy is now mostly ruins, and at the center of it all is a network of tunnels that defy logic. Hidden beneath the surface and long overlooked, the tunnels were rediscovered in the 1930s. But it wasn't until the 1960s that archaeologist Robert Paget took them seriously. After years of exploring, he made a bold claim. He'd found the legendary Cave of the Sibyl, a mythical prophetess said to have predicted the future and left her prophecies on leaves scattered at the cave's mouth. The tunnels also seemed to mimic the structure of the Greek underworld, suggesting the builders were deeply inspired by myth. No human remains have been found inside, but the architecture hints at something more than just function. It was theatrical, symbolic, possibly spiritual. Whether it was a sacred site, a political display, or a retreat into mythology, nobody knows. The deeper you go, the more questions it raises. Number 12. The ancient village of Basta. Well, Petra might be Jordan's most iconic archaeological site, but just a few miles away lies something even older, Basta. This 9,000-year-old village was one of the first to transition from a nomadic lifestyle to settled life. The people who lived here left behind almost no records, but they did leave behind objects that spark curiosity. Among them is an intricate necklace made of 2,500 beads, found buried with a young girl in 2018. It's one of the earliest examples of ceremonial burial in the region. Getting to Basta isn't easy. You have to climb through a steep canyon to reach it, which raises another question: why did early settlers choose such an isolated spot? Was it for protection, spiritual reasons, or something we just haven't figured out yet? The landscape around the site hasn't revealed all its secrets, but the fact that these people were crafting complex jewelry and conducting ritual burials so early in human history says a lot. Number 1. Vanguard Cave Sips, Ancient Secrets. Back in 2021, archaeologists reopened a long-buried passageway inside Vanguard Cave in Gibraltar, now nicknamed the Chamber of Secrets. This coastal cave had been sealed off for thousands of years by layers of sand, hiding what turned out to be a Neanderthal time capsule. Inside, they found the remains of lynxes, hyenas, griffon vultures, and sea creatures like large whelks, all believed to have been carried in by Neanderthals. But what really stood out was the discovery of a milk tooth belonging to a 4-year-old child, unmistakable evidence of Neanderthal presence. A mysterious carving on the cave wall also raised eyebrows, possibly created by these ancient people, though it might have been added later by early modern humans. This site dates back roughly 40,000 years, a pivotal time when Neanderthals began disappearing from the planet. The cave could hold crucial clues about their final days, how they lived, what they believed, and possibly what led to their extinction. What do you think about it? Number 10. The Stone Circle of Mazzora. In a quiet field in northern Morocco stands Mazzora, a vast stone circle with 167 standing stones arranged in near-perfect geometry. The formation stretches over 200 feet in diameter and has puzzled experts for centuries. Local folklore claims it's the burial site of a Mauritanian king, or more fantastically, a sleeping giant named Antaeus. But neither tale explains the mathematical precision carved into the layout. The stones form Pythagorean triangles, specifically in a 12 hours 35 minutes and 37 seconds ratio, just like at Stonehenge. Even more baffling, both circles show signs of the megalithic yard, a unit of measure supposedly used across prehistoric Europe. These links have stirred controversy. How could two civilizations separated by hundreds of miles and oceans share such identical engineering ideas 5,000 years ago? No written records explain who built Mazzora or why. But the structure itself stands as proof of connection, of knowledge, or perhaps coincidence, that challenges what we thought we knew about ancient human capability and communication. Number 9. Armenian Stonehenge. Known locally as Karahoun, and sometimes referred to as Zoretz Karar, this curious site in Armenia has kept its purpose well hidden. Some call it the Armenian Stonehenge, but that's more about comparison than accuracy. It doesn't look much like its British namesake. What stands here is a ring of 223 upright stones, many of them with carefully drilled holes. Some archaeologists think it may have been used as an ancient astronomical observatory, possibly built during the Middle Bronze or Iron Age. Others argue it could have been part of a much larger settlement wall or ceremonial site, but evidence for that is thin. No tools or remnants of housing have been found nearby. Its hilltop location offers sweeping views, but doesn't give away much in terms of clues. Whoever placed the stones knew what they were doing. That much is clear. Why they did it or what meaning it held has been lost to time. Theories exist, but none have been proven. So in other words, scientists can't explain it. It's a total mystery. Number 8. The Mummy Crypt of Oud. In 1765, a team of carpenters working on a church in the Dutch village of Oud made an unsettling discovery. While renovating, they found a hidden crypt with 11 wooden coffins. Expecting decay, they were stunned to find the bodies inside were perfectly preserved. No embalming, no wrappings, just natural mummification. Scientists later found that the crypt's cool, dry conditions slowed decomposition to an extreme degree. Even birds that accidentally fly into the crypt experience the same process. These aren't Egyptian mummies, and this wasn't intentional preservation. It just happened. The bodies are thought to be members of a 17th century Protestant group called the Labadists, who briefly lived in the area. Today, the remains look more worn down than they did 2 centuries ago, but the mystery remains. How did this hidden chamber stay untouched for so long? Why did nobody record it? And why did nature take over preservation duties so precisely? The crypt remains one of Europe's quietest archaeological surprises. Number 7. Moo Mokai. During the Musket Wars in early 19th century New Zealand, a grim tradition emerged among Maori tribes, preserving and trading the tattooed heads of their enemies. These preserved heads, called Moo Mokai, became commodities. Only the tattooed faces were taken, as Moko traditional Maori tattoos carried immense cultural weight. Each pattern held deep meaning, telling the story of a person's ancestry, status, and life events. As European traders began placing value on these heads, the practice turned darker. Demand encouraged further conflict. Some tribes even tattooed slaves just to sell their heads. The trade reached its peak when British military officer Major General Horatio Gordon Robley amassed a personal collection of 40 Moo Mokai. Eventually, as New Zealand came under full British control, the practice declined and was eventually banned. But the legacy of these heads and the pain behind them still lingers. Today, efforts continue to repatriate Moo Mokai to their rightful homes and bring some closure to a practice fueled by colonial exploitation and cultural misunderstanding. Number 6. Nixon, the crocodile-shaped Mayan city. The Mayan city of Nixon is over 2,500 years old, and it stirred more questions than answers since its aerial layout revealed something strange. It resembles a crocodile. Was that deliberate? If so, it would have taken serious foresight and planning, especially for a civilization with no aerial perspective. The city is set near Lake Peten, and during its prime, it may have been the largest settlement in the region. Its grid-based layout feels surprisingly modern, with clearly separated public and ceremonial spaces. The connection to a crocodile isn't random either. In Mayan mythology, the earth was formed from the body of a slain crocodile-like creature named Itzam Kabane. If the shape of Nixon was intentional, it might be a tribute to that story. But if it's just a coincidence, it's a strange one. Either way, the city's planning and symbolic resonance make it stand out even among the many rich sites left behind by the Maya. Number 5. The Paddle Dolls of Ancient Egypt. In tombs dating back nearly 4,000 years, archaeologists have repeatedly uncovered curious wooden figurines carved into feminine forms. Known as paddle dolls, these artifacts weren't designed for play, they served a ritual purpose, though exactly what that was remains unclear. Each one is flat, delicately painted, and has no head. Instead, strands of beads tied to linen threads cascade down from the neck, forming what appears to be hair. Many of these figurines have been found in burial sites closely associated with the goddess Hathor, hinting at a possible symbolic connection. Some researchers suggest they might have represented temple dancers who performed in her ceremonies. Others lean toward a musical function. Shaking the dolls makes the beaded strands rattle, resembling a primitive percussion instrument. Whether as offerings, icons, or spiritual tools, the paddle dolls appear time and again in funerary contexts across Egypt. Their craftsmanship may be simple, but the meaning behind them is anything but. They remain delicate messengers from a civilization that spoke volumes through silence. Number 4. The Fire Mummies of Kabayan. Hidden in the caves of Kabayan in the Philippines, the so-called fire mummies tell a very different story from the classic Egyptian image. These remains weren't wrapped and entombed. Instead, they were dried, smoked, and preserved using a process entirely unique to the Iloy people. This practice, now lost, involved the dying individual drinking salt-rich fluids to start dehydration from within. After death, the body was positioned above fire in a sitting posture, allowing the smoke and heat to gradually preserve it. The process could take months. While historians believe these mummies date between the 12th and 16th centuries, local tradition claims they're far older. That debate continues. The ritual ended abruptly when Spanish colonizers outlawed it in the 1500s. Many of the mummies have since been looted, as the caves were left unguarded. Today they remain a cultural and historical enigma, suspended between folklore, colonial interference, and the raw ingenuity of ancestral traditions that defy modern expectations. Number 3. The original Nolanda University. Long before the modern version opened in 2010, and even earlier than the 1951 revival, the original Nolanda University was already a beacon of ancient knowledge. Founded around 427 CE in what is now Bihar, India, it's believed to be the world's first residential university. It wasn't just a Buddhist monastic center, it was a full-fledged institution that taught medicine, logic, mathematics, and literature. Built during the Gupta Empire, Nalanda remained active for over 750 years and played a major role in what's often called India's Golden Age. Some of the greatest Mahayana Buddhist scholars studied and taught there. Though it was attacked and partially destroyed by Muhammad Bakhtiar Khalji's army in the 12th century, it somehow survived in fragments until the 1400s. Floods, time, and war buried much of it. But today, it's recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. What makes Nalanda so extraordinary isn't just its age, it's the legacy of open learning it sparked across ancient Asia. Alright guys, now let's move to number 2. The Antarctic Pyramid. In 2016, satellite images of Antarctica sparked a flurry of speculation. A pyramid-shaped structure, rising sharply from the icy landscape, caught the attention of researchers and conspiracy theorists alike. Unlike surrounding formations, this one appeared too symmetrical, too deliberate. Some believe it's an artificial monument, evidence of a long-lost civilization buried beneath the ice. If that were true, it would mean it predates known human history, possibly existing before Antarctica froze over nearly 100 million years ago. At that time, the continent was lush and forested. Scientists, however, have a more grounded explanation. They classify the structure as a nunatak, a rocky peak that protrudes above glaciers. Still, skeptics aren't satisfied. No other nunatak, they argue, looks quite like this. Its angles, proportions, and stark presence feel too purposeful to be written off as coincidence. While it remains officially unexplored, the pyramid continues to fuel debate. Is it real? Are we missing something big? Number 1. The Split Boulder. Deep in the forested outskirts of Nara, Japan, lies a massive boulder with a razor-straight crack down its center. Locals call it the Idoe stone, and legends claim it was sliced cleanly in half by a samurai's sword. The warrior in question, Yagyu Munetoshi, lord of the area and founder of the Yagyu Shinkadriya school of swordsmanship. He's a real historical figure, but the tale takes a fantastical turn, claiming he split the stone during a duel with a mythical goblin-like creature known as a tengu. As thrilling as that sounds, scholars chalk it up to folklore. The cut is very precise, though, so clean it looks engineered rather than eroded. Scientists argue that natural causes, but the neatness of the break doesn't quite add up. No tools have been linked to it, and there's no evidence of quarrying. Whether it was a geological oddity, a spiritual symbol, or just a great story that stuck, what's clear is that the stone continues to slice opinion right down the middle. If you found this video interesting, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more mind-blowing content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you very, very soon.